Do we want to go ahead and shift our focus to outside?
I think so.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and shift scenes. The breakfast continues somewhat somberly after that. I mean, everyone's been through quite the ordeal. The um,
Potatoes.
so while they are eating potatoes, we have Charlotte walking out. I believe one of the back doors.
No, I think we should zoom in on Calder first, see what he's
Fair
up
enough. Calder, currently playing fetch with a weasel. Um, Give me a perception check, please.
Okay. If he rolls low, I think that will be perfectly in character because he's being rather introspective at the moment.
I agree.
But he rolls a
Wow.
natural 20.
Amazing. Amazing.
Typical.
For a moment, you feel very strongly like you're being watched, but not by something malevolent, and then the feeling passes.
And then you get hit in the face by swoops trying to land on one of your horns.
Swoops
We'll look
MVP
up.
emotes in chat, please.
We'll look up at Swoops. Hey, Swoops.
Just is crawling up your head to get to one of the horns to hang on.
We'll break off a thing of just a little bit of the food that he's been like breaking up into pieces to fling at the weasel, and we'll hold one up to Swoops. Why don't
He'll take it and eat it, yeah.
After he takes it, we'll very gently run a single finger down the back of his head.
Yeah. I think maybe a minute after Swoops makes his clumsy appearance, Charlotte will come walking out to the general area where you are.
I figured you'd come here soon enough. Flick another food at the weasel.
I'm honestly surprised none of the shrubbery is on fire.
I have new and healthier ways to vent frustration.
I do too. Care to join me in one of them?
Aww.
And she just starts walking off like down one of the garden paths.
He'll rise and will gently tap the side of his, like he'll dust his cloak off, and at that point, the weasel will probably scamper up his side and like land on his shoulder, and then become extremely interested in Swoops.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say Swoops is like the size of the weasel's head. His
And
entire body is.
And the weasel is by all accounts, an entirely normal weasel who sees possible food source, but for some reason doesn't feel a desire to hurt it. So
Yeah. So Charlotte will, with a very easy to understand familiarity, lead Calder through a portion of the gardens and come to a what can only be described as a sparring pit. It's there's a big sand ring, and there's over to one side there's a bit of a shed that she goes to, opens it up, and she grabs two quarterstaffs out of the shed.
Calder will like let out a semi-exasperated sigh.
Charlotte,
Like
without
not like just like
uh,
of
uh,
course.
yeah, Charlotte will take off the long robes she is wearing, and Calder will notice that among the she's got some new scars and stuff on her, which she did not have just a few weeks earlier when they parted. Uh, she's also got a fair amount of bruises and stuff on her as she takes the quarterstaffs and walks out into the middle of the ring and holds one of the quarterstaffs out to him.
What have you been up to?
Movement is currently unlocked, so you can move yourselves about the map freely.
Yeah. All right. So he asks, "What has she been up to?"
Yeah.
Training.
He'll take the quarterstaff and like looks just. He has a very like tense expression on his face as he like runs it through over his hands and like just feels the grip of it.
There's been a lot to do around here, helping manage a household that was in mourning, and
That usually doesn't involve bloodshed.
no, but I felt restless after everything that happened at the forge. I felt very strange about just going back to dealing with account books and letters and correspondence. And Lore felt a little bit the same, so we've been sparring out here, and I think maybe you could do with a bit of burning off some excess energy. You seemed angry down in the crypt.
I was. I still am.
And Charlotte takes a stance, quarterstaff out, like waiting for him to like tap weapons.
So what are we doing here? What are the rules that we're playing by?
Laura and I usually do first to 5 points, points being either knocking your opponent onto their back or landing a blow to the torso.
I see.
Does that sound good? We usually do magic allowed. Would you be interested in more than just a staff duel?
These rules are familiar to me.
All right, and you see Charlotte gesture to herself, and you saw during the Forge of Fury, you saw Charlotte cast Mage Armor several times. She cast it on you several times. Normally, she would trace glyphs in the air, and some of her ward would like break off and like attach itself to you, and that would be how her casting of Mage Armor worked. That's not what she does this time. She waves her hand, and the shadow of the nearby trees and shrubbery and behind the shed skitters along the ground and up and wraps itself around her as she casts Mage Armor.
He tilts his head at that. Where are you drawing that from?
Beat me in a match and I'll tell you.
I am going to give myself a handicap. I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind winning.
I don't like winning unfair fights.
Putting Mage Armor on myself. Yep.
Calder, I'm gonna give you one cast before we roll initiative if you want. But I also want to hear Charlotte respond to that particular comment.
So she asks, so what is this handicap you're giving yourself?
I won't turn you into something that you can't fight with.
Fair enough. She waits for you to tap her quarterstaff with your quarterstaff to signal the fight.
He'll remove his at this stage. We'll finally remove his cape and like some ancillary material, and we'll kind of huck it to the side. When he does that, that's when the weasel will hop off of his shoulder and like sit on top of his stuff protectively, turning it into a little nest.
Yeah, Swoops takes off from your horns and just kind of like flies about 20 feet above the ring.
Very well. They'll tap his quarterstaff to
roll initiative.
Yeah.
PvP is a rarity in one of my games, friends. You are all lucky to be here right now. Okay, so Calder.
Okay.
You don't get the screech of warning that normally happens when an attack is about to come, but you do still manage to respond very quickly. What do you do?
With a deep breath, he'll begin casting a spell.
What are you casting?
He's going to. We'll start this off. He's going to cast He's going to cast Shadow Blade.
Okay, what does that do? Does it
He's
just
going to-
summon a blade, or does it attack?
Literally, it's going to summon a sword that he is always proficient in into his hand.
Mm-hmm.
What's it look like? I mean, it's a shadow blade. I get it, but what's it look like?
He'll put he'll as he finishes the spell, it'll manifest in his hand. It'll look a lot like his shield, which is along a series of black geometric sigils in the air, and then it will sort of bend and coalesce into a sword shape that he will grab out of the air.
Question: what level spell slot are you using to cast it?
It is a level 2 spell slot.
Okay, just making sure because at higher level spell slots, it does more damage.
It does, but I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to hurt.
That's
hurt
fair.
like that.
But I gotta check.
In D&D, you can always make a melee attack non-lethal.
Well, it's true. That's what this is.
Okay, so you have yourself a shadow sword. That was your bonus action. What next?
With that bonus action, he will like make an elaborate gesture of it. He'll try to sweep the quarterstaff and make a semi-serious attack at Charlotte.
I'm gonna go ahead and lock movement so you can show me how you want to move.
Bill won't not terribly subtle about it.
Makes sense to me. Go ahead and roll that attack. It should work.
It doesn't actually. I've activated it and I've given it to myself, but it doesn't actually given me the. It hasn't done anything to my sheet. Hasn't added any action.
Oh, it hasn't added the sword action? Okay.
It should be. It's a melee spell attack, right?
No,
Or
it's
is it
a
a weapon?
it summons a weapon.
Right.
Yes.
Do you have another sword?
I do, but it's just I can use that instead. It will have the exact same pool, just uses different damage.
Yeah, no worries. This one does have finesse though, so you definitely want to use your
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, you hit.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, Calder is a fencer. He did manage to kill the red wizard with a sword through the chest.
So yeah, as you
it absorbs
strike
psychic
out.
damage.
Yeah, but as you strike out, the ward flares up in front of your sword, and you don't actually make contact.
Yes, the Abjurer's ward works on all damage.
Yep.
As far as I know, nothing straight up bypasses it.
Yep.
So the sword comes forward, it clashes with the ward, and though your strike was true, your blade is turned aside anyway. You still have some movement left if you want. What do you got? Are you done? Are we moving on?
He'll stay right here. He'll stay right where he is for now.
Hold on. Boom. Excellent. Okay, Charlotte.
All right. Do-do-do-do-do-do. She will. Yeah, she will take she'll take a swing at you with the quarterstaff.
All right.
Bonk.
Yep. I wonder. This should be a disadvantage. Let me just click it. I don't know if it would auto do it or not.
Okay. The attack is not particularly graceful, missing by a lot, so you're able to kind of, Calder, you're able to kind of just step back, kind of out of the reach of the quarterstaff.
I figured that Calder would is showing off that he knows what he's doing. He interposes the quarterstaff because he's wielding a quarterstaff in one hand and a sword in the other. So he's just interposing interposing the staff and lightly deflecting.
Yep, and she'll take a step to the side, kind of working out where you are. She felt the connection with the staff, but could tell it didn't hit you. And she will say, as she's kind of stepping around, shifting with the sand underneath, go, "So why are you angry? It worked. He's back."
Calder, it's your turn.
It only worked halfway. Is what he says with a very deep sense of anger that he's holding back for now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
He'll begin. He will. He's in this because he doesn't. He doesn't think he's. He's not present right now. He's not taking this fight that seriously. So he'll follow Charlotte's movements, and we'll lash out again.
That was very nearly a one. It looked like to me.
Yeah, but all right.
But it wasn't. So you so you hit again with the rapier or with the shadow blade.
Yep.
Charlotte, some of it gets through this time. So it's one of those like anime style fights where you manage to pierce the ward, and she moves aside, and it kind of nicks the arm. Charlotte, give me a will save.
Okay. You mean wisdom save?
I meant a wisdom save, yes. 3-5 is still just imprinted in my skull. You really want to hurt this guy. All of a sudden.
All of a sudden? Gotcha. So you actually see, as you break through the ward and skitter off, like, her eyes kind of flash the brighter rainbow colors for a second.
And the blade itself is psychic damage, so I've thematically tuned it that it's like it is literally weaponized parts of Calder's trauma that he's literally weaponized.
Yeah. All right.
It's like you get you hear what it feels like to be abused by an older sibling.
So DM, you said it hit in the arm?
Yeah, we'll say it kind of nicks off of the arm.
Okay. So no point has been scored yet. Gotcha.
Yeah. Although, Jeff, I'm gonna say, is that cool with you?
That's
because
fine.
If you want it to be a torso shot and worth a point, then it's a torso shot worth a point.
I'm okay with it being because he's like, this is him trying to have fun.
Perfect.
So I'm perfect. He's again not taking this that seriously yet.
Yes, and Charlotte, you are suddenly just have the overwhelming desire just to, not even necessarily to win, just to make him hurt.
Okay. Yeah. Is that your turn?
That's my turn.
All right. As it comes back around, there's a you see Charlotte's kind of like a bit more on the defensive stance. She, grips the quarterstaff like she's about to go in for another strike, and then she just tries to tackle you. So
she did grapple a roper.
Yeah, let's do a grapple check.
Okay, so I need athletics checks from each of you, or an acrobatics for an acrobatics for Calder.
That's the better of the two.
Whichever one is better.
11.
12. Okay. So it's not like a tackle that drops him to the ground with a one success. You're able to, however, Charlotte, get inside the use the staff to get the sword out of the way and get inside his reach and grab him.
Yeah, she has dropped her quarterstaff at this point. She used it to fake and then got in. She has his lapel in like one of his sleeves, like, so he's still got a free arm and all that stuff, but like she has him gripped and is like she's going to use her movement to move them both back. Like, she's in control of the grapple at this point. And as she's shoving him, walking him backwards, she's going to say, "What do you mean he's half back? He's here. What are you talking about?"
If it wasn't, if it
hold on. We'll get to your initiative. I think I like the flow of this. We'll do soliloquies on initiative.
Sure. That's better.
The actual effects when you grapple someone, is he?
His movement speed. His speed is 0, and he cannot benefit from any adding to his speed.
Got it. Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
just 0, and the person in control of the grapple can move them with up to half their speed.
Grapple rules are super complicated in a lot of games, so I just wanted to make sure to refresh my memory how that worked. Now, moving on to Calder once again. What do you mean he's only half back?
we should have found him in the calm, or in the care of his god. We did not. And with that, he'll activate Misty Step.
Nice.
Also, I'm going to be spending some sorcery points to refill the second level slot.
Sounds good.
And he'll, with Misty Step, gets him out of the grapple. He'll appear behind Charlotte, and dropping the court, like just leaving the quarterstaff in Charlotte's grip, and then just solid stab at the back.
Turn around, take your attack.
That she will cast shield against, and it will miss.
Counterspell.
Oh, okay.
Shield, no, just shield. No.
All right.
This is the first time
let's
this is the first time Charlotte has.
Let's slow this down because this is a great little scene here. Let's slow this down. So, because you just cast 3 spells in one turn, you Misty Step behind her.
Misty Step.
Used a Shadow Blade.
Yes, and then you go to attack with the Shadow Blade.
Shield. Yeah.
So you didn't cast 3, but you know what I mean. You used 3 magical effects. It was awesome. So you stab in once again, and you see her begin to what does your shield spell look like now? You talked about your ward a little bit. You talked about mage armor. How's this look now?
Her shield spell still looks the same. I'm going ancient Greek with this. She puts 3 fingers facing outward above her heart and pushes. And like that's the somatic component for the shield that she makes.
And the shield begins to coalesce, but then Calder.
Calder will. I've described his counterspell as him essentially like gesturing and tearing away the magic that's coming at him, or like suppressing it or crushing it. And what he'll do in this case is he'll, with a very powerful uttering of a magical phrase, will reach out with his hand to mimic her gesture, and will clench a fist and just and make the shield implode on itself.
Roll damage for the sword, not for the shield imploding.
Yeah.
Oh, oof.
Mm-hmm.
So now
that would be a torso.
That's
hit.
a solid torso shot. Yes. Yes, and again, it's not necessarily leaving physical, cuts. It's leaving emotional damage in its wake.
Since that was a more solid hit, Charlotte will get a semi flashback of being in the sand, face covered in dust, blood soaked over the eyes, and this larger adolescent kid with his head shaven will smile will just smile like he's having fun, and then grab the Charlotte by the neck. It just starts wailing on it, and just as the fist starts to impact, that's when it snaps out.
Yeah. All right.
Anton's a dick.
I do believe it is Charlotte's turn.
Yeah, Charlotte's gonna turn around to face towards him and say, "That's the point." And she is going to point blank, reach out a hand and shove it towards his chest and dispel magic on him and get rid of that sword.
I don't even know how dispel. I don't think I've ever seen dispel magic done in 5th edition.
We've seen dispel magic.
Choose one creature object with magical effects within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends.
Yep.
So you pull your own counter magic out, and what's it look like? Do you shatter the sword? Do you break it? How does it look?
She does the push, and then Calder feels like this force hit his chest, and the sword, it's almost like the shockwave went out from her hand and ripples over him, like his clothing moves like there was a powerful wind, and the sword just gets flung away out of existence. And as she casts that, because that is a 3rd level abjuration spell, her ward springs back up around her. So that would be that many points back. Nope.
I'm gonna get another will save from you, Charlotte. Okay, you're still like you're still feeling that feeling of I want to cause this person physical pain, but you managed to keep yourself more or less under control for the moment. That was a solid hit.
Yeah, and with that, she is going to. I'm not seeing the full map. Full. She's gonna go about 20 feet back.
Calder, you said you
Pushes.
dropped the staff, right?
Yeah.
I did drop the staff.
You
Excellent.
gave it to her. She's holding it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just checking.
I'll still take my opportunity attack.
I think you have to be armed to do an opportunity attack.
I believe that's true because I'm not a monk because I don't have default unarmed.
Yeah. Now she got rid of the sword and she's taking your quarterstaff with her.
So yes,
And
you cast a spell,
she will
push you
say,
back.
yeah, and she will say she's moving backwards. Yeah, he wasn't in a good place, so it's a good thing he's here now.
Calder, it's your turn.
Clarion was is one of the best men I know. He definitely deserved a better afterlife than that. He'll reach behind him and produce a dagger and close him.
All right.
Okay, no problem. You close.
That's a miss.
This attack misses. She is prepared for your onslaught this time, and manages to parry with the quarterstaff.
Yeah, she like catches the blow on the wood of the quarterstaff.
But if anything, this is showing something that Calder has never demonstrated in front of Charlotte, and that Calder knows how to actually fight. Like, he's not practiced, he's not trained like a soldier, but he's definitely not a slouch, or because this arena is clearly not new to him.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte is going to. Let me see. Not that one, or the other one.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay. Charlotte is going to. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Upcast Armor of Agathis. And so at second level, she catches the blow on the quarterstaff, and then she takes it and stabs the staff into the sand. And you see the sand actually swirls up around the staff and then around her and kind of settles as this weird kind of sandy silicon armor around her. And yeah, so that gives her second level.
And it gets cold. Like, in the immediate vicinity around her, you are standing right next to her. The temperature drops about 20-25 degrees. American degrees. For those of you who are European.
And that would give her another, because it does stack with her ward, because her ward isn't temporary.
Is not temporary HP.
Temporary HP on top of that, and then she still has a 6 from her ward. But it's also an abjuration spell. She's casting it at second, so she gets another 4 points on her ward.
Does the ward stack on itself?
Yes, the ward has a max HP it can go up to.
Got it. Okay. Abjurers.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm getting the distinct impression that you are taking this fight more seriously than me.
Calder, give me an Arcana check.
13.
This is not the kind of magic that Charlotte normally casts. You already said it, but this absolutely confirms your suspicion that this magic is coming from somewhere else, capital S, capital E. Charlotte, anything to say before it's his turn?
That's actually... She's going to back up 5 feet.
You have the option, Calder, of taking a swipe with your dagger. It's really cold.
Not gonna.
Showing the restraint. She steps back.
And now it's Calder's turn. Or no, sorry.
That was. Oh, what do you got?
She's gonna be saying something. So as she does the thing, gets the temperature drops, and she steps back. She goes, "So if it's a good thing that he's not in wherever the fuck that was, why are you still angry?"
Calder, it's your turn.
Because it means we put him there.
Take your turn.
He'll look at the situation, look around, spot swoops.
Let's go ahead and put swoops on the thing. He doesn't have a picture currently in Fantasy Grounds, but there's the spot where swoops is at. You should be able to see it.
Yeah, and he's 20 feet up.
And 20 feet up.
He hasn't been taking any aid actions or anything this entire time. He's just up there watching.
Calder will lift a hand, his palm up towards swoops. As if he's clearly communicating, I could cast a spell and blind you right now.
Yeah. Charlotte doesn't react, just is kind of in her stance.
But I like you, swoops, and with that he'll cast Cause Fear.
Cause Fear, love it.
Is that a save on my part?
Yep, it's a Wisdom save.
Love it.
Oh, I got it. I can force it.
Oh.
That was a 9 on the Wisdom save. I assume that is lower than your...
It's a DC 15, so yes, that's below it.
All right. What does it do?
You get the Frightened condition. You cannot approach me.
Okay.
All right, hold on one sec. I'll apply that. So I'm going to go ahead and really fast read the description of this spell. You awaken the sense of mortality in one creature you can see. Wisdom saving throw, or become frightened of you until the spell ends, which is concentration up to a minute. The frightened target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turn, ending the effect on itself on a success. And then the frightened is like he says, you can't approach him, and I believe you have disadvantage on attacks you make against him.
Well, I have disadvantage on attacks and ability checks while the source of my fear is within line of sight.
Oh, damn.
Just, you know.
But critically, you're not able to willingly approach me either.
Yes, that makes perfect sense to me. You won't be able to knowingly move toward him, but you are correct that he is not currently in your line of sight, so that part of the spell effect will not affect you.
And Calder, I'll spend the rest of his turn jauntily walking back to my stuff and grabbing a couple of items.
He's walking away from you. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna take.
Spend the last of him pivoting around, having gotten a small bag and his sword.
Charlotte.
Charlotte is going to reach into her waistband and pull out the entangle wand and whip it towards him.
Love it.
So
our first real wizard's duel.
You saved.
Okay. So you think to turn my own tactics against me.
Gave her, yeah.
So yes, so these vines do grow. They erupt out of the sand. How does Calder avoid them? It is a strength save.
Calder will just stand up. Will just essentially stand on the tallest one and gently ride as it tries to grab him, and just sort of literally just staying out of the curve of its turn because he's dexterity based.
Absolutely. Charlotte, anything else?
Check, so that manifests as him just standing on it.
Yeah.
Charlotte is going to say out loud, Swoops, go on, head back to the house. And Swoops is going to leave the arena and go back towards the house. Yep. And then she's going to, keeping parallel with him, go there, and then the final to there. Keeping equidistant from him. And then at the end of her turn, she'll make the save against the fear.
Sounds good. Go ahead and make that save. You're aiming for a 15.
Yeah!
Nice.
Nice.
So you manage to throw off the effect of the fear. You realize that, of course, you're mortal. You've been in mortal danger several times in just the past couple of months, and you've faced it before. You can face it again.
Yeah.
Then you realize that you're not actually technically in mortal danger right now, and you wonder where that thought came from.
No, she doesn't wonder.
Oh, that's
knows
fair.
It was a
She knows
spell.
where it came from. That's fair. Charlotte, what are you up? Oh, that was you. Do you say anything before the end of your turn?
No, she spends her turn telling Swoops to go back to the house. So kind of like, buddy, I'm not using Swoops in this fight.
Calder, it's your turn.
As best I can figure it, the whistle was to blame. When it was used on Clarion, it shoved his soul into that place.
What's your action?
He'll take a deep breath. And then we'll reach into the little bag of tricks and just flick out one of the fuzz balls in front of him.
Roll me a d12.
That is a
9, it looks like to me.
We are officially off the established path of whatever's on these things. So,
Giant fire beetle.
Yeah.
fire beetle. Ooh,
Yeah.
You're new.
Giant fire beetle. Pops out in front of you.
Goes, you're new.
I'm rolling initiative for the giant fire beetle.
It happened. It acts off after my turn.
It acts immediately after your turn. Beautiful. I'm going to put it at
What
20.
commands, if any, do you give it?
Just burn the armor.
Does it actually have the ability to do fire damage, or is it just called that?
I think
know.
it does actually.
It's okay. So let me go ahead and pull up a picture of this thing really quick. First off,
It's very cute.
Oh yeah, they're adorable.
it is very cute. It being called a fire beetle is more like us calling lightning bugs fireflies. It glows, and it glows
just
brighter than a standard torch, but its attack is just a bite.
Okay, then I wouldn't have had it do that.
Yeah.
Instead, what it's going to do is just sort of, it's going to just run up and just to be a barrier, and it's just going to very adorably like run up to Charlotte and just sort of like do little beetle prancing, like waving its arms and like flaring its wing shells and like fluttering its wings loudly.
Yeah, it's making noise. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Works for me. Giant fire beetle. We're up to Charlotte. Does before we go, does Calder say anything during his turn?
He did.
You commanded the beetle. Right.
It means we put him there. But I also talked about because if he was in that place, it was probably the whistle.
Right.
And that means we put him there.
Charlotte, there's a beetle in front of you. Or something? There's something in front of you. You hear the buzzing.
For my actual action, I'm drinking a certain potion.
Oh, Jesus.
My very last one.
Okay, the potion is drunk. Drinked.
Charlotte is going to, almost with a casual flick of her wrist, cast Sword Burst. So, half translucent swords appear in the air all around her and just go buzzsawing around her, hitting all the spaces immediately around her.
Yup. I believe there's a saving throw, or is it just damage?
Yeah. It's a saving throw.
It does succeed the saving throw. However, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Okay. Unfortunate. Wait.
They
Oh,
don't have much hit points, man. I don't
Yeah.
think.
No, it doesn't. It's a beetle. So it just turns into stuff. And
Just slices it in half, and
yeah.
then slices those halves in half.
Thematically, it's probably that beetle is probably going to be very upset at Charlotte going forward.
Probably. And then in the quiet after it, I would like to do a perception check to see if she can tell where Calder is in relation to her.
Go for it. You do feel an unusually strong surge of satisfaction at what you just did to that beetle.
Perception. Why was that it?
I think it was a disadvantage because you're blind.
Well, I was trying to do listen.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
So let me just
just go ahead and reroll. It's fine.
Okay. Ah, never mind. So it's quiet as the beetle discorporates and her swords vanish, and she's standing there just trying to listen, and she doesn't hear anything specifically. There's a bunch of trees in the garden around here moving.
Calder.
She'll just say, "You don't know any of that for certain. Unless you became a priest in the time since we've last spoken. Have you?"
Calder, first things first, give me an insight check, please. Fair enough.
9.
Yeah, so you're able to discern that that Charlotte seems to have lost your spot, but you're not able to figure anything out about her emotional state. She's a little bit more walled off than usual. Ha. Abjuration jokes.
Calder will very quietly reach into his pouch, and because it doesn't require a verbal component, will cast minor illusion, aiming for behind Charlotte to make the sound that Calder makes when he misty steps.
And with illusions, it's an intelligence check to see through them?
Let me pull up. It's minor illusion, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Minor illusion. As you said, only somatic and material components. You create a sound of an object within range, in this case, that lasts for the duration, which is 1 minute. Its volume can range from a whisper to a scream. It can be your voice, blah, blah, blah. If a creature uses its action to examine the sound or image, the creature can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell DC. Another way to disprove an illusion would be to physically pass something through it, which it's not an actual thing that you can see. It's just a sound, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah. As far as Charlotte is concerned, the sound of Calder teleporting behind her has occurred.
And I believe actually we're on Calder's turn. Okay, so
my thinking is that if you're game with it, just advantage on a single ranged attack, which is my goal.
I'm interested to see what Charlotte does on her turn first, and then I'll adjudicate that.
Oh,
Do you have anything else?
Action, right?
Yeah. Calder, are you doing anything else with your turn?
Actually, I don't need. I will. Calder will hold his action. We'll have. I know what he's in it. Calder will. Because his action had to be the spell.
Yes. You still have move and or bonus.
Calder will.
TikTok?
Sorry. Calder will do nothing. He'll stand still. He'll stand perfectly still and watch.
I would absolutely say that was a good idea. If you had moved, I would have done an opposed stealth versus perception.
That's what I was anticipating.
Charlotte, it's your turn.
So she heard the sound of him misty stepping behind her, but then there wasn't any attack that she felt on her ward, right?
Correct.
She's pretty sure she's sure, because she hasn't spent her action yet to try to see through it, that he's behind her, but he didn't attack.
He has not attacked yet. Yes, correct.
She's gonna cast darkness centered on the necklace she is wearing. So 15 feet in every direction from Charlotte is magical darkness.
Give me a moment. I will make you a 15-foot circle, which is white for some reason, but that's darkness.
15-foot radius.
Radius.
So it's twice the size.
Yeah.
Wait. 1, 2, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
And
Just barely covering Calder. Calder, it goes dark.
yeah. And after casting that, will move away from where he was now that she has cloaked herself. So she's going to move like 10, maybe 15. Yeah, 15 feet that direction. And the thing moves with her because it's centered on her necklace.
Excellent.
Because it's like light, you put it on an object.
I assume you're not saying anything this time.
She'll after casting it, she'll try to be quiet as she moves. Should I do a stealth check?
Yes. And I'm going to do this against passive perception. Does the circle moves with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's centered
cool.
on the object.
That's what I thought. You're not super stealthy.
Did it? I think I'm having a bit of lag. It
Oh,
rolled,
wait.
but it hasn't showed the result yet.
Yeah, I also see that.
Why did it drop?
That is a tie.
Oh, I shouldn't be frightened anymore. That ended.
That's
why
what
I'm at
it. Okay,
disadvantage.
I'm taking that off right now. Good catch.
Let me
roll
roll
again.
that again. Yeah.
Good catch.
Stealth.
Not bad. Okay, Calder, you lose track of exactly where she's at.
Oh.
I will say though, because you were at the edge of the darkness, you know that she vaguely moved toward you because the darkness that you were on the edge of, you are now enveloped by. But other than that, you lose track of where she's at. And it's your turn.
Sorry. Calder will. I'm going to do something cute.
Okay.
I'm going to make another minor illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Just blind. Make a minor illusion of my voice traveling in a direction. Traveling from my location for because it has to be. But I have to see it. Unfortunately. Dang.
Yes, you do have to be able to see
Sucks, doesn't it?
the spot.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
I have to.
Give me a moment. I need to
Sure.
read up on something really fast. Sound. At no place that I can see in the spell, and please fact check me on this, no place in the spell does it say you need to be able to see where you cast an illusion. He could
Within
simply say it start within range, but it doesn't say that he can see.
Yep, no, you're good. Minor illusion
So you
doesn't
can-
need you to see the.
So you can make an illusion of you moving in a direction that is valid.
Okay, then yeah, Calder will concentrate and will make a illusion of him saying something about. He'll estimate like 20 feet south of him, so like 4 squares down from me.
Yeah. I'll mark it.
And we'll
Moving from where you were to where that's going, like it travels the distance.
Yeah, like it has to be a stationary, so yes, it's
Okay.
going to be.
Got it.
Him just his voice appearing there, and so that will be him. He'll make an illusion of his voice saying, "I am angry because I am being blamed for a fantastic cosmic mistake that lore made by lore."
Charlotte,
So I hear the sound behind me.
Yes.
I'm still convinced that's where he was before, was behind me, but now he's gotten closer.
Yes.
So I'm going, if you will allow me, DM, I'm going to move in the opposite direction of that sound.
Totally.
Move up.
Go ahead and
We run into each other.
yeah, I'm gonna say Charlotte has been like she's been blind long enough to be able to tell when someone's standing right next to her. I'm not gonna say that so you back up, and as you back up, you realize you're suddenly standing next to someone.
I would love to make a shove attack.
Awesome.
So this is athletics versus athletics.
Athletics versus
No, you could do acrobatics if you want to.
So athletics versus acrobatics, because that's definitely what Calder's doing. He's got an 11.
Nice.
And a 14.
She's gonna fucking flip him onto his back. With the shove attack, you can either shove them down or you can knock them prone.
Yeah.
I am knocked prone.
She's gonna fucking put him on his back and then stand up while letting go and go, that's my point. And she's going to...
Again, I keep feeling, again, you're taking this fight a little more seriously than I am.
Does he say that out loud, or is this you, Jeff,
Yes.
saying that? Oh, okay.
This is him saying it on his back.
As she backs up, she says, maybe you're not the only one who's pissed.
So prone or not, he still does get his reaction. You have a chance, if you wish, at disadvantage.
I'm not
to take
gonna
an
punch
attack.
an armor of Agathis. That's stupid.
I'm just giving you your options. Okay, so stop making me try to hurt myself. So she backs up.
Mm-hmm.
You are able to hear her backing up.
Yep, not being stealthy about it. Darkness moves with me.
Calder. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to erase that thing as well. What are you up to, Calder?
Because it's centered on because she's not being stealthy and going away. I know how darkness works. I'm a shadow sorcerer. I'm going to go the opposite direction.
That makes perfect sense to me. I'm gonna.
We have to stand up. That takes half your movement.
True. So you do.
Sorry.
You do stand up.
You're gonna crawl.
That's true.
Um.
So I can do 15.
Yes.
That still will take me outside of the range.
I'm gonna go ahead and just really quick, for the heck of it, give me a quick perception check. It's an easy DC, but if you miss it, it's gonna be funny.
What's
Like
the
me or him?
I'm sorry, Jeff.
what is the skill?
Perception.
I'm going to use the sorcery point to reroll that because that's dumb.
Sounds good.
Oh, I think I got the wrong one there.
Oh!
That's dumber. All right, well, then what happens? Oh, dear.
That pillar there, you walk
Pong.
face first into it.
Sure.
I'm gonna give you 5 points of damage,
Ow.
and it's not very dignified, but fortunately nobody saw it.
Sure.
Oh, hold on. That was just his move.
Oh, that was
just
just your move. You're right. It's not actually Charlotte's turn. Go ahead.
Then Calder will put a hand like binarily behind, like directly into toward the middle of the sphere, and will summon Fireball.
Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, now it's getting real. Okay, give me that Dex save.
Can you force it on me?
Do remember, I believe several of you have inspiration points.
Okay, I am going to cast Absorb Elements.
Okay, so wow,
Well, for
amazing.
what, it's absorb elements. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so first off, and this is a thing, like she does get the chance to react, because it's as she takes the damage that. So is this an actual fireball, or is this one of your wonky balls?
He'll make it an actual fireball because he doesn't want to waste the.
That makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so into the center, and honestly, it's not like you need to be accurate, right? It's not like you need to be pinpoint here.
No,
So
it's just
it says DC
just
16.
evil.
Is that right?
Yes,
Excellent. Okay.
and
Fails the
I already
save.
forced the save. So yeah,
Roll that damage.
Yeah, roll damage and then
roll
I'll,
it into the
roll into
chat,
chat.
not onto her. Yeah, because
I'm giving myself resistance, and then we'll see if any of it gets
oh
past the
man,
board.
9
So-
points of damage.
So 9 points of damage. That takes off. It takes off from the ward first, so I still have 1 point of the ward up.
Okay.
Because it goes ward first, then temporary HP, then real HP.
Yep.
Although I did technically. Is the ward taking damage me taking damage? Do I have to make a concentration check? Let me look at the ward wording.
Good idea. While you're doing that, so the shadow obviously
Instead, yes, the ward
instead?
took the damage instead. So I don't
okay,
have to
so
do
you don't have to make the concentration check. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. So you dump the fireball into the middle. Anything else?
Or let me real quick make sure it's absorb. Okay, yeah, absorb elements isn't concentration. That's fine. All right.
Yeah, it's instant. Calder, anything else with your turn?
And yeah, he's going to follow it up by expelling the fire from the fire breathing.
Jesus, that's a bonus action, yeah? And it's within
So it's a within 30 feet, so still within range.
Now the absorb
And-
elements is still in effect for the rest of the turn, right?
You have resistance to the triggering damage type until the start of my next turn. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead and do the saving throw.
Yeah, DC 13.
All right, let me roll it.
Dex save. And it's safe for half, so.
Yep.
No. Okay, roll the
not
damage. That did almost as much damage as the fireball, so that's another 7. But this time you're actually taking damage.
Yeah, it's 7 because I resisted it. So it does eat into the temporary, which means I do need to make a concentration check. So let me do this math real quick.
Yep.
Temporary 11 minus 7 is 4.
Mm-hmm.
The ward's depleted, but still up. I can still recharge it with more spells. Speaking of which, absorb elements itself is abjuration.
Yes,
so
it
I
is.
should have had 2 more points on the ward, so I have 2 more temporary HP left because it eats through the ward first. Okay.
Yes.
But so I took 5, so the concentration check is DC 10.
Go ahead and roll it, which is a Constitution save, yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
you managed to maintain
Darkness
control of
save.
your spell. You weren't necessarily expecting the first bout of fire, but you were definitely not expecting the second bout of fire.
And then Calder will fire back at it. Is Charlotte? Charlotte? No one should want to see me angry.
Smoke billowing out of your mouth as you say it, though nobody can see it.
Like probably like the back of my mouth is lit with flame that is yet to come out.
Charlotte, it's your turn.
Well, he spoke very clearly,
Oh yes,
so I know the direction he's in, yes?
yes.
So, even through the darkness, like crackling above and through and around it, these offshoots of lightning start crackling as you hear Charlotte say, maybe people care about you and they want to know how the fuck you're doing, and she casts lightning bolt.
At this point, I'm going to use the long overlooked and unused spell storage ring. Specifically the upcast resist elements in it.
Absorb
That you put
elements,
on
yes.
that you put into the Sunless Citadel.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Let's do these things in order.
Okay,
Dex
I'll
save
force
first.
the save. Yeah, I'll force the save.
That is a successful save. Roll your
Yep.
damage, but again, do it in chat.
Yep.
So that's 14 points of actual damage because it's half. So you've got 14 points of lightning damage incoming. You said you had an
Resist.
upcast absorb elements?
Yeah, it still just gives you resistance, so you're taking 7.
So you take 7 points of lightning damage.
And then
Okay.
what spell level was it upcast to? 2 or 3?
2.
2. So until the end of your next turn, when you hit with a weapon attack, you can deal 2d6 lightning damage.
Oh,
That's
so
what
you
the-
absorb it and like catch
And then
hold of it.
Hit
Yeah.
it back. Yeah.
But
Charlotte's
your
just-
hair is definitely standing on end at this point.
And Charlotte is going to, after casting that lightning bolt, she's going to drop concentration on darkness. She's just going to be standing there, breathing heavily.
The area
Calder.
partially scorched around them.
Oh no, the
it's
sand
glass.
the sand
100
immediately yeah, the sand immediately around Charlotte was already glassed, or was already like melted into a fused mass. And yeah, there is a straight up like panel of not like a smooth panel, but like broken shards of glass between the two of you.
And continuing for like another 60 feet behind you.
There's definitely enough saltpeter in that area to glass.
Yeah,
Normal sand doesn't glass.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that every square directly to the right of Charlotte, up until the end of the arena, is currently difficult terrain. Just the 5 foot,
Just
path,
the line.
just the
Yeah.
line, is difficult terrain. Calder, what do you do?
At this point, Calder will just sort of sigh, let out a long sigh, and just drops on his ass and sits cross-legged. At this point, I'm going to have to stop. You win.
Charlotte, give me a wisdom save.
Motherfucker! She will say out loud, "You're not needed here right now." Like, not towards Calder, but like to the side.
Calder will arc her brow.
Which she doesn't see.
And she says it in, what languages does she have again? Abilities. She'll say it in primordial. So I don't know if Calder can catch that or not.
Let me double check my notes. I don't think he speaks primordial.
No.
He does not.
It's not a common one,
Nah.
even among demons.
And yeah, I think she will accept the surrender and drop out of initiative, and she will walk around the line of stuff and get that close, and then just sit down as well.
Because I don't want to hurt you.
You didn't really. Like, she's tired, and
That
but like
was the only reason I felt comfortable in going that far. I am acutely aware of how powerful I am, Charlotte. That's not a brag. That's not an attempt at me giving any bravado. I know I am strong.
you're not all knowing though.
No.
I want to know why he's like this too.
I have a theory.
You do, and I want to hear about it. But it is just a theory, and I've got a few too.
Then we should talk about them. But right now, I'm just very blissfully happy that my friend is back, and I am deeply, fantastically angry that he was suffering, and it is in part our fault.
I don't think fault's gonna help here.
Yes, that's why I was playing with a weasel in the garden. Gently, he'll tap his knee, and the weasel will come bounding up and sit on his knee.
Absolutely.
It helps. I understand why Lore likes hitting things now. God, it helps sometimes.
What is it?
What's what?
I don't care what it is. I don't care where it comes from. But what is it?
You see Charlotte kind of take a second. No, I won the match. I don't have to tell you. But if you wanted to take a few guesses, I'll tell you if you're right.
Is it a demon?
No.
Is it a devil?
No.
Then I don't care.
Although, cards on the table. Doesn't have anything to do with this. She's like gestures to the still shadowy like armor that's on her. But I have made a deal with the demon. That's years old at this point.
My particular flavor of infernal heritage is I'm descended of fiends. I'm supposed to hate all demons and destroy them on sight if the powers have their way.
Well, you've been failing miserably at that.
No, I quite like you.
Oh, no. You said it earlier. You love swoops.
Swoops.
Mm-hmm. He's not very big on the food chain, but he is a demon.
Suddenly, Calder, certain behaviors start to make sense, like the fact that Swoops isn't that great at flying. Like, bats are supposed to be the most incredibly agile flyers, like, out there, and Swoops is kind of clumsy now that you think about it. Quasits are clumsy.
I will admit, though, you had me very sorely tempted to break my handicap.
I'm kind of insulted you thought you needed it. I know I'm not the best fighter out there, but I'm getting better.
I could have turned you into a small hamster and kept you in a jar. That would somewhat solidly win me the match.
Unless you'd... I don't know, it'd be pretty hard to catch a hamster. You'd have to catch me and put me on my back 5 times to win.
I have a weasel. I can manage that easily enough.
I'm going to go ahead and check in with M, who I know is laying down. M, are you able to hear us? Are you still with us?
I've been posting in chat. Have you not noticed?
Oh, you
I
have. Some of them real clumsy, though. Yes, I
Point
do
of
see
order.
that.
The myth about bats being graceful got broken a few years ago when people actually put up high-speed cameras in bat caves. Like, we thought, like, there's
so
thousands of
dumb.
them moving at a time, and somehow they're coordinated and agile enough not to run into each other. High-speed cameras reveal, no, they run into each other
All the time.
All the time, consistently.
Fair enough.
You're just built to
Fair
resist
enough.
it and recover
Yeah.
from it. They're really good at
They're
recovering.
bouncy.
They are really good at, like, recovering from just hitting shit midair.
Oh, I love it.
But
I mean,
they are
also
not,
can't fucking see, so
yeah, they're not always graceful.